Jenny Allard is the Ivy League's longest tenured and winningest softball coach. All 8 of Harvard's Ivy League titles and its 7 NCAA championship berths have come under the watch of Allard, who has led the Crimson for 28 years. Allard's teams have produced numerous All-Ivy selections, as well as 7 Ivy League Players of the Year, 8 Ivy Pitchers of the Year, 6 Ivy Rookies of the Year, and 3 NFCA All-Americans. She has also been a valuable asset to Harvard since 1994. Included in all her service, Allard helped launch in 2020 Harvard's Grow, Play, Achieve, GPA, program, which provides health, wellness, and community building opportunities for all undergraduates. At this time, please enjoy this video highlighting the career of Jenny Allard.
Congratulations, Jenny, on your induction into the NFCA Hall of Fame, the highest individual accolade a coach can achieve. It was a real treat to be your coach at the University of Michigan, and you had so much talent on the field, in the circle, as a hitter, as a position player on defense, and those talents earned you the well-deserved honor of being an NFCA All-American. It's been so fun to watch your coaching career unfold. Love that competitive edge you've had as well, knowing how to have your teams win and be big in the moment. And I'm just so proud of you. Congratulations on your big night.
We are all proud of you. I know Hutch is at the top of that list, and I'm not far behind. And how fitting, on the 50-year anniversary of the celebration of Title IX, that your first coaching stop was at Iowa, where Dr. Christine Grant was instrumental in the development of Title IX. How fitting that you're being inducted this year. She would be extremely proud of you, Jenny, as we all are. Congratulations.
When she came in, there was something about Jen. She had that little je ne sais quoi, you know, she handled herself so well and was so poised and did things, said things with convictions, and you couldn't help but be impressed with her. And certainly I think both of us felt that if someone was going to be able to do it, it would have been Jen. And look at the track record.
Harvard was playing its first Ivy game. It was against Brown. The next day, Jenny comes to my office, she knocks on the door, and she says, "Pat, can I talk to you?" "Yeah, sure." You know, we said, we're talking about the game, and she said, "I gotta tell you something." She said, "You know, I got thrown out of the game." And I was sitting there and I'm going, okay, how do you respond to this? And immediately in my head, I said to myself, we got the right person. We got the right person.
Congratulations, Jenny. We are so proud of you, so honored to have you at Harvard. And this award obviously recognizes your accomplishments as a player and as a coach. But even more than that, why you are so deserving is because of who you are and how you have mentored and led and inspired so many young women.
Jenny, congratulations on your NFCA Hall of Fame induction. I am thrilled that you're being honored in this way. In addition to your tremendous on-field accomplishments, which include 8 Ivy championships and 7 trips to the NCAA tournament, your approach to your work is both equally impressive and commendable. You are a role model coach, mentor, and educator who has set many students and alumni up for success, both in their time at Harvard and beyond.
I've been very impressed with her ability to develop her student athletes, and she does a great job of teaching the game, but more importantly, getting them prepared for life after softball.
Congratulations, Jenny. Let me be amongst everybody tonight to wish you all the best on this evening. We're proud of you here in Ann Arbor. We're proud of you as a Michigan woman. We're proud of all of your accomplishments, but more than anything, we're proud of the woman that you are, the coach that you are, and the role model and mentor that you have been for a long, long time. You've impacted a lot of lives, and we're certainly happy to be a part of your journey.
Hi, Jenny. Congratulations on being inducted into the NFCA Hall of Fame. It is such an honor to have coached under you for 5 years at Harvard. You have made such an impact on not only myself, but every other coach that's coached under you and every player that has played under you at Harvard. I know you don't like to be the center of attention, but tonight is your night, and I am so excited to celebrate this evening with you.
You're the epitome of a leader, a fearless one, for sure. You taught me to fight for what's right. You taught me how to fight for women's rights, how to fight for student athletes, and how to run a Division I softball program the right way, with relationships being at the forefront. The culture of the program embodies everything that she is about, and it is unmatched. Coach, thank you for paving the way, mentoring every student athlete and coach you've ever been in contact with, and giving your 110% always.
Jenny, you are a Title IX trailblazer, an incredible softball mind, and an even better person. Congratulations on the NFCA Hall of Fame.
What's so significant about her coaching style is that Harvard likes to espouse, right? It's student athlete, and the student comes first, or the person comes first. And I think Coach embodies that more than anyone, any coach I've ever worked with. I mean, when you're having a tough time, even when you're being like a total jerk, or, we've all had moments, she really sees when you need something.
I think what has made you such an exceptional coach is not only what you've done with your teams on the field, but really how you help develop us as women off the field. I know I benefited from that greatly, and so I just wanted to say thank you. I wish you all the joy that comes from this award. It's well deserved.
Coach, congratulations on your achievement. Throughout the years, you've always put players first, and now we're really excited to celebrate you. Thank you so much for all you've done for Harvard softball.
Congratulations. I am so proud to be part of this program and this legacy, and this honor for you is so well deserved. Congrats.
Coach, you have impacted so many young women's lives, including mine. Thanks for believing in me and helping me find my best friends. You're the best to have ever done it.
Congratulations. So happy for you. And since I think I'm officially the first person you handpicked to be on the Harvard softball team, because I was a walk-on in your first year, I just want you to know you changed my life. It wouldn't be the same if you hadn't taken a shot at me. So congrats, and thank you for everything.
Congrats, Coach! Congratulations, Coach, on your Hall of Fame achievement. Kia!
Congratulations on being inducted into the Hall of Fame. I'm really proud of you.
Hi, Jenny. Thank you so much for being such a great role model, and we're all so proud of you. Thank you for all you've done for our family.
As your oldest niece, it's pretty cool to say that you've been coaching longer than I've been alive.
And hopefully you show up on time at the banquet.
Congrats, Jenny! Hi, Jenny. We just want to say congratulations.
And let you know that we're really happy for you.
And how proud of you we are, and that we love you very much.
Hi, Jenny. So happy to be here and sharing this special honor with you. I'm reminded of when we first moved to California. Dad and I sent you to this softball camp for 5 days. Was that you, Irvine? You're about 8. And after the week ended, we asked you how you enjoyed the camp and if you learned anything. And you said, yes, you really enjoyed the camp, and that one of the coaches there told you you had something called potential. And let's just say the rest is history. Every time you got a special honor or a special award, Dad and I would look at each other and just say potential. So congratulations. So happy for you.
Harvard softball is a program it is because of you, and we're so grateful for the legacy that you're leaving. It'll be remembered forever.
Congrats, Coach!
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the podium 2022 NFCA Hall of Fame inductee, Jenny Allard.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Obviously, it's incredible to be here, to be honored in this way. This is beyond anything I ever expected, and I'm, filled with gratitude. This honor is celebrated by my family, many of whom are here tonight. It's celebrated by my current team and alumni, and you've heard them cheering for me very loudly. They're super excited for the after party. It's celebrated by the athletic department, and I'm happy to have our senior associate AD and our program manager here tonight as well. And it's celebrated by assistant coaches along with my current staff, with whom, I share this recognition. Obviously, coaching is such a encompassing job, encompassing, activity, let's say. And to have great help makes all the difference in the world in anything that you do. And I've learned through the years that asking for help is something that everybody needs to embrace doing. I want to thank the NFCA for this honor and bringing us together for the development of our game. It's been amazing to watch over the years how our association, how the sport, how everything has just really grown. When I made the transition to coaching, I was an accountant in my former life. The conventions were critical for learning and growing and connecting. I had studied numbers for 4 years. I took a little history, a little psychology classes, but then there was a lot I needed to learn. And I told my mom, I got to go back to school. And she's like, "What's for? You've been doing this your whole life." I said, I don't know the pedagogue to how do you explain things, how do you teach things? Just because you can do it doesn't mean you can teach it. And I said, let's talk about the outfield. What do those people do out there? I've never played the outfield. I don't know what they do. There's a lot I have to learn. And the conventions were a way to learn that and to listen and to be involved and to be connected. And it's such just a wonderful community that just keeps giving every year. And I'm proud to be a part of this association. And I really thought I hit the jackpot. During COVID, I got this paperweight. I love paperweights. I have a collection. And I got this paperweight from the NFCA that was in the shape of a ball. Many of you have it. It's crystal. And I was like, I have made it. I have this award from the NFCA that says 30-year member. And I have it prominently displayed on my desk, and I love it. But this one, I'm just overwhelmed by this award from the NFCA. So thank you for this. As I reflected on my life in softball, I just have been feeling like I've been born under a lucky star. My grandfather bought me my first glove 2 years after Title IX was passed. And I have seen the development of our sport, the development of women's sports. That has been my life. To be born post-Title IX, to have the opportunities I have, I feel just timing is everything, right? And the camp that my mother referenced that they signed me up for, that was the Sue Enquist softball coach at UC Irvine. You're 8 years old, and the first coach, college coach you get to work with is Sue Enquist. She was an assistant coach at UCLA. I mean, what are the odds? She brought in Ron Lefevre to teach us how to pitch. He went on to train many All-Americans, one of them being Jen Brundage, who played at UCLA and is now associate head coach at Michigan. My mother has always preached to us, my siblings and myself, our responsibility as parents is to make sure our kids have choices. You have to make sure they have choices. And I'm living proof that she lived what she preaches. You've got to expose them to things, let them find their interests, let them find their passions. And in doing that, my son, he was briefly on the film. He can't be here tonight. He loves books. That's his passion. His passion is history. I didn't know he was competitive. He told me at 5 years old, "Mommy, sports are boring. You do the same thing over and over again." I was like, he's right. You just do the same thing over and over again. So he loves books, he loves languages, and he's at Trinity College in Dublin, Ireland, studying history, and he found his passion. I have my niece here tonight. She found her passion. She's studied, and she's just graduated from nursing school, and I'm proud to report that she is a nurse at U of M Hospital. So congratulations on that one. All the opportunities I was given in youth softball, and again, I was lucky. My parents settled in Southern California, and in the 80s, they were playing softball year-round. I couldn't play other sports because I had asthma. When I played soccer, I was running up and down. They made me the goalie because I was huffing and puffing. Then basketball was no, that was not going to be good at all. So I stuck with softball and loved it, and I had some success with it. And all those opportunities I had to develop my skills afforded me the opportunity to be recruited by Michigan. And I went to Michigan on a visit. Hutch was in maybe her 3rd year as a head coach. And I went on the coldest day of the year. And here's a kid from SoCal. It's 0 degrees. I've never seen 0. And I'm like, wow, I just like feel a fit here. I really liked the people in the program. And I'm proud to have a very famous teammate here tonight, Bonnie Thal, the new leader of the Michigan softball program. And all alums are thrilled for her. And I make this decision. They had an undergraduate business school, and I could take classes out of that. And I was just super thought this is the right fit. And my mom said, you know, I really like that hutch. There's something about that hutch. And she's in her 3rd year. She had been an assistant. They promoted her. She became the head coach. And here I choose to go to Michigan. And Hutch develops one of the most storied programs at Michigan, is a Hall of Famer herself, the winningest coach in Division I softball. And she's my coach. My coach is famous, right? Like, who does, like, that's lucky. Like, look at these opportunities. And so how does a kid who graduates from Michigan in accounting, has a job in public accounting, get into coaching, get into college coaching specifically? Enter Gail Blevins, okay? By way of a high school program as well. And I'll tell you the story of how I got into coaching, because Carol Bruggeman, my senior year, said, Jenny, you really should consider coaching. I think you'd be good at it. Nope, that's not for me. I don't like to talk that much. I don't think I could do that. I just think I need to stay in my lane. So I didn't give it a second thought. I graduate, and I have a public accounting job. I'm working for one of the big 6 firms. My goal was to then work for my dad, work in his office, be his business manager. And all of a sudden, I start doing this work, and I can't sit still for 10, 12 hours a day. My first job as an accountant was loan review in Hanford, California. 10 hours a day, you had to go through a stack of papers in an hour and come up with a valuation of all of these loans. It's like watching paint dry. And I thought, I don't know if I can do this. I felt like it wasn't the right fit. We talk about fit a lot in recruiting. It wasn't the right fit. I should be doing something else. It was almost like I was being called to do something else. A year later, I worked for my father. Okay, that's getting better. I'm learning his business. I'm more dynamic. I'm doing more and different things. And in November, I do a road race. This is how you can get into coaching. I do a road race, and I run from Irvine to Laguna Beach, 13 miles, because Hutch made us run in college, so I kept running after college. And, I never ran before because I had asthma, but then I learned how to run and get in shape, so I ran this 13-mile road race. And so at the end of the race was the current high school coach where I had gone to school. I didn't play for him, but he said, what are you doing now? I said, oh, I'm working for my dad. I missed the game. He says, would you like to come help out the team? I said, yeah, I volunteer a day or so. He calls me then, he goes, great, I'll take your number, we'll get together. Fine. He calls me in February and says, will you be my JV coach? I said, I have a full-time job. He says, well, I need a JV coach and you can assist me with varsity. So I go to my boss, my dad, and I said, I think I need to try this. I think I need to try coaching. All the while when I was miserable, my mother says, why don't you call the coaches that you say? Why don't you go coach? You should call them, you should volunteer. I'm not doing that. I don't think I'll be good at that. I'm not doing that. I was resistant. Your parents, as a parent, you're the dumbest person, right? Like, the only thing more humbling than coaching is parenting. Like my son thinks I'm the stupidest person on the planet. I'm like, I have some credentials. So I wasn't listening to my mother. So sure enough, I get this opportunity. I was like, I think I need to try this. My dad's like, that's fine, but I'm going to cut your pay. I said, that's fine. You can cut my pay, no problem. So I run the road race, do the road race, then I get involved in the coaching. I coach the high school, and I was like, wow, this is what I should do. I like this. I could teach and coach at the high school level. I'll go back to school. Well, Gail Blevins came out to recruit 2 of our pitchers that spring. And she says to me, have you ever entertained college coaching? I said, nope, no way. She says, you should consider it. I said, okay, I think I'm going to go back to school and get my credential and do the teaching, and I think I'll be good on that track. She says, okay, well, just consider it. I said, okay, no problem. That summer, she had an opening on her staff. So she calls me, and she says, will you consider this opening? Will you interview? And I said, okay, sure. I moved out of the Midwest back to California. It's nice and sunny. It's warm. And do I want to consider this job? And I was like, I have to do this. I have to interview with Gail. She interviews me. She offers me the job. She flies me to Iowa to check it out. And I was like, I've been to Iowa. I played against you. I've been there. So I fly to Iowa, and she puts me in front of Dr. Christine Grant, okay? I'm going to give everybody in this room homework because I am from Harvard and I have to represent. You need to look up Dr. Christine Grant. in the spirit of the 50th anniversary of Title IX, the NCAA commissioned a documentary called Unshakable Belief. Unshakable Belief. And she was such an advocate and such a pioneer for Title IX, what she argued for, what she advocated for at the administrative level. She was the AD, the women's AD at Iowa, and there was a male AD. So they were separate departments, and after 27 years when she retired, they combined them. But during the time I worked at Iowa, she was the AD. I mean, here I have the first AD I worked for is a pioneer fighting Title IX, going to Congress, arguing these things, and my college coach is such a pioneer for Title IX, like advocating, you know, these are two people I learned how to fight for things, what you have to do, what's important, how to frame things, how to work for things. And Gail taught me how to coach, how to think about things as a coach. That's very different as a player. Just because you can do it doesn't mean you can teach it. She was a mastermind at developing her players. Her practice plans were 3 pages long, and I kept every single one of them. And their learning and the strategy that I gained from her, it was the best apprenticeship I ever had. She's tough. She was intense about the game, and she was a master strategist. She did things in the game, you know, during my era when I played that were revolutionary. And I experienced it firsthand. We played at Iowa, I think it was my senior year. And I come up to bat, and I'm a dead pull hitter. So she plays a shift. I'd never seen it before. My eyes get real big. There's nobody in right field. I look down at Hutch, like, there's nobody in right field. You know, Hutch, this is the genius of Hutch. She doesn't call timeout and go, do this with your bat. She goes, I'll give you $1 if you hit it to right field. So I'm loose now. I'm laughing. I'm like, okay, well, how do I do, like, I'm thinking, how do I do that? Okay, she's pitching me inside. I get off the plate. Okay, do it. Holy shit. I swung the bat, and it went to right field. And I had to run now, and I wasn't fast. It's the only time in my history, my career at Michigan that I got all the way to third base. I couldn't make it home. I wasn't fast enough. I slid into third. Hutch is like on the floor laughing. And I stand up and say, you owe me $1, right? And then the next inning, Gail comes out. I'm playing third, and she's like, good hit, Jenny. I mean, so all she could say was like, good hit, like you went against the strategy. But the mind of that, and to think about doing that, it was so revolutionary to think about how she could position her players and to teach that, to see substitutions, to see making decisions. It just really taught me more than I could have imagined. And I'm forever grateful to Gail for the opportunity to get into college coaching, to do something that had become, you know, my greatest passion, you know, professionally, and to learn from somebody who is so good at what they do. And, you know, again, I just filled with gratitude about that experience. And here's how I got to Harvard. So I'm at the College World Series, and I'm the assistant coach rep on the NFCA committee. So we had to meet. So I had to go to the College World Series. So I'm at the series, and Kathy Aronson, who's the head coach at Yale, says, hey, Jenny, how do you like coaching? I said, oh, I really enjoy it. She said, do you want to be a head coach? And I said, well, eventually. I've only done this 2 years. Like, I'm 6 years old. Like, I just got into coaching. I'm just still adjusting from accounting. And she says, you know, the Harvard job's open. I said, oh, okay. She says, you know, I recruited you out of high school at Northwestern. I remember you were a good student. They're going to want to hire somebody young, somebody who's a good student. You should apply for the job. So I thought, okay. So I drive back to Iowa, and I applied for the job. And I got an interview. And I go to interview at Harvard. And I'm the one they brought in that they didn't think they would hire, because I played at Michigan. I'm coaching in a top 25 program. And they thought, this is not going to be a fit. This is not going to work, but let's bring her in anyway. And I go there, and I interview with Bill Cleary, who's a 2-time Olympian, won a national championship as a coach, is now the AD at Harvard, and Pat Henry, who's a senior associate AD at Harvard. And I loved it there. I thought, this is a right fit. I was frustrated with doing class checks at Iowa. I was like, I want to work with people who want to go to class and want to do this. Like, that's what college is for, right? Like, we should be doing that. Gail's like, you know, that's what I want to do. Like, that's what I should be doing, right? So I interviewed there, and it was amazing. And here's the benefit of Title IX. That year, they elevated 3 sports to full-time status: softball, volleyball, women's ice hockey, and they hired full-time head coaches. So at 26 years old, here I am, never thinking I would coach, being the head coach at Harvard. I was like, what just happened? You know, like, okay, now what do I do, right? Now I'm the head coach, and what do I do? And how do I build a program? And luckily, I had Hutch, I had Gail, I had people to ask questions, I had the NFCA, and I kind of went along and I figured it out. And in addition to trying to work and build a program, I then became an academic advisor, because there's this thing called a proctor at Harvard, and they're in residence with freshmen, and you have to be an officer of the college. So I interviewed, and I thought, I could do this. I know nobody. I'm 26. I need some friends. I'll learn the Harvard curriculum. Maybe this is something I could do. So I learned how to be an academic advisor, and I lived in residence with freshmen. So I have stories about all of my alums, but I have some great stories about Harvard kids in residence and dumb things that they do. And I had to live it. And that enriched my life as a coach, because I learned the curriculum, and I met deans, and I met faculty, and I got connected in that way. And it helped my coaching to understand what my students would go through on a yearly basis, what the academic demands are, and what happens beyond that. And I'm forever grateful to Dean Nibby Nathans for giving me that opportunity, because it mattered. It mattered in my life. And as my dad says, you know, I said, you know, you get into coaching, like at that time, there wasn't any money in coaching. He says, it's not how much you make, it's how much you don't spend. I was like, oh, well, I'll live rent-free. I'll save all my money. I'll invest it. And then I don't have to chase a higher salary. I'm good. I can figure this out. I was an accounting concentrator. So that led to more and more opportunities within Harvard to interface with the larger, you know, administration, the larger faculty, the larger really community that is just an amazing place to be and a source of excellence. And, you know, I can't say enough what it's like to work at Harvard, because, you know, when you work at Harvard, you're kind of under a microscope, right? Everybody's looking at everything you're doing. And you have a level of excellence. And I was or am still, I guess, the expert in softball at Harvard. That's they're going to come to me. I'm teaching clinics. People are calling me. People are doing this. People are doing this. The philosophy at Harvard is education through athletics. Opportunities are there to provide life lessons for students. And athletics is not solely the reason that they're there. It is a part of what they do. It's a part of what they become while they're there. And when the pandemic hit and they canceled class and they sent students home, they had to make a decision about athletics. And you're neither privileged, okay, nor punished as a student athlete there. So they say, why are we sending all the students home but potentially leaving the athletes here? We can't do that. If we're de-densifying the campus, we have to be consistent with our decisions. Okay, we got a letter from the president within 2.5 hours. All the head coaches were in an Ivy League, were in a meeting with the president of the college and the dean of the college. To say that Harvard doesn't prioritize athletics is a misnomer. He is telling us all the information he has for which to make this decision. And we sat there. He's being advised by all the infectious disease experts, which are the best in the world, about what he knows. We sat in that meeting. He told us what he knew. He told us who was working on a vaccine. He told us what was going to be happening that was catastrophic. And we stood there like stunned. And the decisions followed what they knew. And athletics is at the forefront in the sense that we get canceled. I get text after text. Sorry to hear your season's canceled. Sorry this, sorry that. I was like, do these people not know they're going to get canceled too? Do we not? They're just being sympathetic. Hutch calls me and says, I think we're going down the same road. I said, you sure are. She says, they're saying no fans. And I said, well, tell your kids this may be the last game they play for a long time, because it's coming and it's happening. So to have that information and to be at the forefront of those decisions, you're under a microscope. We travel, and what do people say? You're from Harvard? Like the Harvard? We're like, yes. You know, we try not to, like, you know, put attention out there, but the attention is there. You know, you work at a very famous place. As my son would say, why would you coach anywhere else? It's one of the best institutions in the country. Like, where else are you going to go? And I said, well, that's a good point. That's a very good point. I can't argue with that logic. So, you know, it's been amazing, and I've been very grateful for the tenure that I've had at Harvard. And I'll say a couple of things about my players, who are the most remarkable women I've ever met. They're driven, they're focused, they're smart, and what they do as student athletes is incredible, considering there's no scholarship, considering the academic demands. I've never been surprised by the level of success on the field. I've always known what the players were capable of doing. But the one accomplishment that blew me away was last year being honored as the top team in Division I for GPA at Harvard. One time we ranked in the top 10, and Marlo Yonker called me from Central Michigan because she was a top 10 team as well. She's like, Jenny, I think there should be a degree of difficulty here. And I said, yeah, maybe. But to have, you know, a 3.7 at Harvard where you have 3-hour exams and the demands are exceptional, like, and keep up the level that they do athletically blows me away each and every year. So to have these women here tonight celebrating means the world to me. You know, they are the smartest driven students you ever want to meet. And some of them do have, you know, sometimes we lack a little bit of common sense. You know, as Carol Drohan told me one time, she says, you know, my students at Northwestern, they're brilliant, they're calculating, they're smart, they can design buildings, but if it catches on fire, I'm not following them out. It's like, I'm with you on that one. I'm with you on that one. So, you know, yeah, lots of stories about what we see. As I tell my staff, what's obvious to us is not obvious to them. So we have to be the better teachers. We have to use more words, okay? That's what we have to do. My work at Harvard, my curriculum is simple. I just try to win softball games. That's what I do. I help my players grow. I help them develop. My job is to help them get to their next steps. I have written hundreds and hundreds of letters of recommendation for what they want to do next. It's the greatest privilege I have, and it's a great honor. My life has been enriched by the development of these relationships that I've had over decades with these student athletes. To have the first student that I put on the team as a walk-on speak and thank me is remarkable, and speaks to how this experience is a transformational experience for students at the college level. I had it myself at Michigan. I know the value of it for my players. And that's my goal. Win softball games and make sure that they're having a good experience. That's growth, right? The purpose of sport is that we become a better version of ourselves, okay? So a few thank yous. I have tons of Harvard stories. We can share them in the after party if you're interested. Several thank yous. First, to my players, both current and former. You are my heart, you are my motivation and inspiration. You have made my work fun, challenging, frustrating, and rewarding. I have learned more from each of you than you will ever know. My job was never to make your lives easier, just better, and help you get to where you're going in the world. You are Harvard softball. You have each added to the strength of the program. You will be with me always, even when I can no longer remember your names. I hope you continue to cherish the people who make up Harvard softball, past and present. To my former assistants, you have left an incredible mark on Harvard softball and me personally. I've appreciated your work, your support of your players, your loyalty to me, and I'm proud to call you friends. I hope I've helped you get to where you're going. To my current assistants, you still have work. You're not done yet. To Hutch, you've been a model coach, mentor, and supporter. You are always available for counsel and advice. You gave me the opportunity to wear the maize in blue. You have supported my coaching career, and you were there when I needed it most after the sudden death of my father. You reached out amidst your disappointment in having your season come to an end to let me know you were thinking of me. I appreciate that more than you know. Thank you for the large role you've played in my life to help me get to where I was going. To Maureen, with whom I share the amazing challenge of raising a son, thank you for supporting my work, understanding the schedule and travel. Thank you for teaching our son to love books and for coming to our home games, even when Cooper was in my office reading his books. To my dear friend Nancy, thank you for sticking by me for so many years. You are my longest friend in softball, and you are a special person, having endured for years coming to my home and having my father call you no-hit. To Andrea, the person most responsible for me still coaching, Thank you for supporting my work beyond what I thought someone could. With my health challenges, you have kept me physically operational. When I was limping from pitching BP, you told me to go to yoga. Not the easy kind, the 90-minute hard, hot yoga that with humidity, which I still do. When my quad was tight, you bought me a rolling stick to roll it out. When my right shoulder was sore, you bought Chinese cups to alleviate the pain. When my left shoulder was bothering me, you bought K-tape to tape me up. When I complained of upper body strength and I was lacking, you bought me an over-the-doorway chin-up bar. When my entire body was weak, you got me a travel set of TRX bands. And my personal favorite, when I recently disclosed I was sitting in an ice bath at home because my legs were tired from catching bullpen, you got me Normatec boots that I could plug in and sit in the recliner and treat myself. My house is a virtual training room. You have gone beyond measure to allow me to do what I love, not to mention attend as many games, clinics, and camps that you possibly can attend. Thank you for being my rock. To my family, first my cousins, thank you for coming to my many softball games, too many to count, for being proud of me and helping me along the way. I look up to all of you. I'm grateful you are here. To my niece and nephews, thank you for understanding what I do and being proud of me. To my siblings, thanks for putting up with me. I'm the middle one. I'm the bossy one. I'm the reason we have rules. Thank you for doing the task when I make a list when we're on vacation in Montana. To my sister who learned to run snack bars when I played, I'm in awe of what you do as a kindergarten teacher, and thank you for making my child mine when you watched him during recruiting trips. It was like behavior boot camp. He came back saying, please, thank you. How was your day, Mommy? To my brother, a bigger Michigan fan than myself, thank you for keeping me informed on all things Michigan. I heard that Hutch retired when I was in Ireland from my brother. The only entity that is faster at disseminating the news is the Associated Press. To my father with whom I share a spirit. He helped me get to where I was going. He let me go even though he wanted me to work for him. He made sure we had what we needed. He made sure we had all the opportunities that we could have, and he never was a softball dad. He never, he enjoyed the games, but he really just enjoyed watching me do what I love to do. He would be tickled that I was up here tonight. To my grandmothers, I learned a mental game from my grandmothers, and I'll give you two quotes. The first, from my grandmother Allard, life's great if you don't weaken. You got to be strong. You got to deal. You don't know what's coming your way. It's like P. Duff, have stamina. Secondly, by my grandma Irish, Jenna, I just can't worry about that. There's nothing I can do about it. I can't worry about that. I was like, that's brilliant. Can we have all the discipline to worry to do that? That was just a brilliant quote. I know I'm forgetting people, but I will continue on. The last one's tough. To my mother. She was scheduled to be here, but took a fall. She's devastated. She is watching virtually from home. My mother is a badass, okay? She is a badass. She called me to get into coaching. I didn't listen. She let me find my way. She says, you're always going to have a better mousetrap. She let me do it. She let me figure things out. When I was interviewed at Harvard, someone said, who's been the biggest influence on your career? And I paused and I said, my mother. And they were shocked. And I said, I know you want me to say this other coach in her profession, but honestly, it was my mother. At every turn when I had to negotiate my career, I've gone to her. She's the one that could dissect it. She can talk to me. She knows me. Who knows you better than your mother? Nobody, right? And if you listen, the point of this speech should be listen to your mother. If I would have listened, I would have caused myself a lot less grievance and a lot less pain, okay? I have been lucky to do the work that I love. I've worked very hard, and I've tried to speak the truth and do what is right when no one's watching. The work we do as coaches matters. It changes lives. And it has been a privilege to coach as long as I have at an institution who values teaching and learning at the highest level. Coaching demands every part of ourselves, requires constant change, but at the end of the day, there are a lot of things that are much harder. Remember, we are the lucky ones. Thank you.
Next up is Carrie Blaylock, retired head coach for Southern Illinois University. Carrie Blaylock, who retired on March 2nd, 2022, is the all-time winningest coach in both Southern Illinois softball and Saluki athletics history. During her storied tenure, SIU advanced to the NCAA postseason 8 times, which includes being the only program in conference history to make 5 straight trips from 2003 to 2007. Blaylock Salukis collected 751 victories, posted 18 30-win seasons, including 4 40-win seasons, and a program best 47 victories in 2005. In addition to Southern's on-field success, Blaylock's teams consistently ranked among the nation's best in the classroom. SIU ranked among the top 20 nationally in team GPA every season since 2001, with 11 top 5 finishes. The Salukis have also tallied 26 academic All-Americans, second to only Nebraska for the most of any D1 softball program. At this time, please enjoy this video highlighting the career of Carrie Blaylock.
Good evening, coaches. I'm thrilled to be here tonight to help salute one of my best friends.
Hey Carrie, Big Caster here. I just wanted to take some time to say congratulations on being inducted into the NFCA Hall of Fame.
What you have done not only for SIU Carbondale and the program there, but what you've done for the sport and continue to do for the sport.
It is fitting that I'm doing this on a golf course now, since that's what we do with our lives instead of softball. Can't think of anyone more deserving than you to go in tonight.
You know, you committed your life to this sport, to our program, to us as student athletes. And I am so very fortunate that you picked me to help be a part of that journey. And
what I'm impressed with most is not your unlimited knowledge of the game, but rather your ability to connect with people, not wavering on who you are and what you stand for.
Honestly, just boils down to your devotion to SIU and all of the student athletes that you've coached and mentored over the years, including myself, and just the impact that you've had on the sport of softball. I'm so happy to see you getting the recognition that you deserve.
While many coaches can claim great achievement at the institutional and conference levels, there are a scant few who have made the national impact that Carrie has.
The thing that's truly set you apart from other coaches is your honesty, your passion, and your love for the school, your players, and the coaches that you're around.
We all joked, you know, this should be a roast, and I certainly turned over some evidence to these guys to use if they please.
Okay, bud, every inning is a new inning. Let's go, bud. You got this, bud. Go hard, bud. Here we go, big kid. Here we go. Put down and go, kid. Put down and go.
One of my favorite things about Carrie is that we bond over the Kardashians, and she sent herself an email one time to remind her to watch the new episode.
One of my favorite memories with Carrie is when I was on crutches and couldn't walk to class, so she drove me and drove up on the sidewalk to drop me off at the door.
Hey Carrie, congratulations. We're all so proud of you.
I, like many people, came here to be a part of the magic that you created, the vision that you created here. So many times that I can think of, you had been offered to leave to Power 5 jobs, to bigger and supposed better opportunities, and you chose to stay, and we really appreciate that. It's just an incredible model for all of us of loyalty and just being a visionary here.
They wanted me to tell one of my best memories, and my best one is when I got a phone call that I had to show up to class even though I had better than a 4.0 and could probably teach the class, and I think that's what I told you when you called me and told me I had to go to class. I think I said I could teach the class, but nonetheless I went because you told me to. Thank you for making all of us better individuals. Thank you for teaching us that we need to all show up 20 minutes early to literally everything in our lives.
Over a long, long period of time, when I was the AD at Southern Illinois,
my office was down from Carrie's, and I had a daughter who was getting into softball, and as a former baseball player who never bunted in his life, and Carrie liked to religiously use the bunt. So I would always come down and would have these animated discussions on bunting, why it's necessary. I was a baseball player, it doesn't translate, but it would always end up in a good, fun joke.
And I'll never forget one time coming in after a weekend going, I don't know, over too many, that you told me, you know, players don't turn bad overnight. And in the moment, it's not what I wanted to hear, but I went home and I sat on it, and I came back and ended up having a good next weekend and went on a roll from there.
Carrie, you have a tremendous passion for this sport, and that's always been portrayed every time I've been around you. I really appreciated all of our competitive battles. Very intense, but always respectful. I really enjoyed our conversations, our talks, especially during season. You always make me smile. You have that unique ability to always bring things back and put them in perspective. I'm proud to join everyone at SIU and the Missouri Valley Conference in congratulating Carrie on being inducted into the National Fast Pitch Coaches Association Hall of Fame. Congratulations, Carrie.
Congratulations, Coach Blaylock, for your not only your nomination, but for your acceptance into the Hall of Fame, the class of 2022 in San Antonio, Texas for the NFCA. Proud of you, buddy.
Your lifelong dedication to the game of softball and your commitment to SIU's program has been incredible. You have permanently left your imprint on the program here, and we are forever grateful. Thanks for all you've done for the game of softball and SIU.
Thank you for constantly fighting for your players, me being one of them, and I promise to do my best to continue your legacy at SIU and not mess it up. Remember, once a Saluki, always a Saluki.
You have impacted decades of young women, and not just had championship experiences in the classroom and on the field, but also have changed the trajectory of countless lives.
Thank you for always supporting me, for always pushing me when I needed to be pushed, and just for the countless memories that I have playing the sport that I love.
Soak it in. You've earned it. And thanks for staying away from Quattros on dollar pitcher nights on Wednesdays. But no, love you, Coach, and thank you for the memories, and thank you for being a great friend.
You have made such an impact on my life. You always know what to say to every single person in the moment that they need it. You've become a lifelong friend, and I love that we stay in touch, and I'm so happy for the career that you've had, and I can't wait to see how happy you are in retirement and all the things that you continue to do for Saluki softball. The program will miss you, I'll miss you, and I'm just so happy for you.
Thank you for making me a better coach. Thank you for being a friend. Thank you for being a mentor. And thank you for the opportunities still to come. Congratulations.
I am forever grateful for you, so thank you. Thank you for believing in me. I know you've impacted so many of us in a special way. Congratulations again on your special honor.
Thanks, and Carrie, you are so deserving, and I am so proud to know you and to have worked for you.
We're going to give it a shot if this guy. High five? For Carrie? High five? Come on. There he is.
Swung on, lifted to right center field, and Patterson makes the catch. And for the first time since 1991, the Southern Illinois Salukis are Missouri Valley Conference Tournament champions. And take a look at that dog pile. This will be a tough play. The throw to first is in time. And the Southern Illinois Salukis, for the third time in program history, have won the Missouri Valley Conference Softball Tournament.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the podium 2022 NFCA Hall of Fame inductee, Carrie Blaylock.
Wow. Well, most people that know me know that in a very small group, I love to tell stories, joke around, have a ton of fun, but this is just a teeny bit overwhelming. So I'm so grateful and humbled to be here. Many of the former inductees I'm fortunate enough to know as friends on a personal level, and to be considered in their company is just very humbling to me tonight. I want to thank the committee for thinking that I belong in this company. I'd like to thank Carol and the NFCA. I've been fortunate enough to work with Carol and the organization and appreciate everything that all of you do for the sport of softball. I want to congratulate Jenny and Sandy and Mary Jo. I know Jenny and Sandy very, very well. And I'm very confident that if there was a diamond set up in here, all of you SIUE alums, that she would want to get out and compete right now. We pitched against each other in high school and in college, and have coached against each other for many years, so congratulations, Sandy. If you would give me just a minute and indulge me, I'd like to acknowledge a few family and friends are here. My mom is here, 78 years young, all the way from Heron, Illinois, and I'll definitely speak about her more in a little bit. I have friends that I've known for 30 to 40 years. They're here. They are my family. Melissa Morley and her husband Mark, and two of her boys, Taggart and Ty, Stephanie Shelley, Linda Schutte, Mary Jo Fernbach, former assistants Christy Canoyer, Kenzie Bennett, and Jen Sewell. And I'd like to recognize our chancellor, Southern Illinois University Chancellor, Dr. Austin Lane, came tonight. As well as our athletic director, Tim Leonard, and our deputy AD, Katie Urlach. Thank you so much, all of you, for making the trip. It means the world to me. And I want to thank Jen Sewell and Olivia Clark Kittleson for all the efforts that they put in to make this night so special. I'm going to spend my time up here tonight as a night of gratitude for me. Hall of Fame coaches, I've always said this, become Hall of Fame coaches because of Hall of Fame players, Hall of Fame assistants, and Hall of Fame families that support that coach. And tonight I want to take a moment to go into that. My life as a coach was filled with great people and circumstances no different than Jenny's that got me here tonight. My first is my parents. My dad was what I refer to as the original girl dad. He was a girl dad before it was cool to be a girl dad. He was my best friend. I was, for you youngsters, you may not know who this is, but I was just like Loretta Lynn. I was a coal miner's daughter. He worked long and hard, but always made time for my brother and I. When he would play catch with my brother, who was 6 years older than me, I got to play. When they would hunt or fish, I went too. I might have fallen asleep in the duck blind. I did not know how to take the fish off the hook, but I was there. He took me to a men's fast pitch game in the area, and I was hooked. And he probably gave me the best advice that I ever got. I wanted to be a catcher. You know, when you go to the park when you're a little kid, you get to put on all the gear. And he said, sis, what do you call me? Sis, you can't hit, and you're too slow. But I think pitching may be the way to go. So many people have thought that is harsh through the years, especially those players. They're like, I can't believe he said that. You know, he taught me so many valuable lessons like work ethic, responsibility, accountability, but that lesson was the best one. Each of us have a unique gift. Find that and use it. I had a Hall of Fame high school career, college career, and here I am. I think he was a pretty smart man. And I know he's looking down on me tonight, and he's really, really proud. Mom, you're the strongest person I know. Even though you were dealing with a terminally ill husband and son at the same time, which is unthinkable, you made my life as normal as possible. I always said that my mom made chicken salad out of chicken shit. She figured out how to make sure I had everything that I needed in high school and college, all dealing with my dad and brother's illness. I'll never forget the conversation that I had with her when I decided to continue coaching. How Jenny and I were both accountants, and we never worked. Well, she worked. I didn't work a day in my life. She helped pay for a very, very pricey accounting degree and an MBA. And here I asked her, would you support me for a few more years while I get started in this profession? She never hesitated. Her words were always, we'll figure it out. Mom, I think it turned out pretty good. I do want to say that she was my biggest supporter, but she could also be my biggest critic. Phone calls after the game were, Care, who hit the home runs? She knew I was the pitching coach. Never asked about how they did. And her next question was, you didn't get thrown out, did you? For all of you in the audience that don't know me, 2 years ago at the Arizona State Regional, it was the only game on that Thursday night. I made it 3 batters, and I got tossed. I have a really hard time with that rule that says you can't argue balls and strikes. So, sorry about that. So, moving on, the next person, growing up in Heron, Illinois, really the only sport that mattered if you were a female was softball. So the next person, you remember my dad said that I could only be a pitcher, and I took his advice. And so my high school coach and mentor, his name was Bruce Gillak, and he also passed earlier this year. He's a Hall of Famer in the state of Illinois. And he taught me to pitch, but he taught me so many other things. I wanted to coach because of him. He taught me so many things throughout my career, and one of the young ladies on the film talked to me about being early, and punctuality was one of those things. So my friends get so mad at me because I always, I'm like, get out the door, get out the door, get out the door. I'm the one that has to be there 20 minutes early, and that was him. But I will never forget a conversation I had with him my freshman year. I came back from my first collegiate tournament, and I was devastated. So we played Texas A&M, and they had won the national championship the year before. And I struck out the first 2 hitters. I was flying high. I was walking around. And then they hit back to back to back to back home runs. 4 in a row. There's a player by the name of Liz Mazzara. I don't know if any of you remember Liz Mazzara. Yeah, she had 8 RBIs against me in that game. So I had to look up, and she only had 36 that year, so I accounted for a lot of that. But so I come home devastated, and I went to Coach Gillak, and he said, I had told him a story, and he looked at me and he said, you know what, Carrie, you've been an underdog your whole life. And he said, what makes you special is that you're competitive. He said he always thought that pitchers were way smarter than hitters. Always told me that. He said, it's your job to figure it out. So he always encouraged me to dream bigger. I ended up having a great college career because of him. As the circumstances would go, the next individual I'd like to mention is Coach Kay Brechtelsbauer. Some of you remember her and know her. She was the head coach at SIU for 32 years before handing the program off to me. She changed the course of my life with one phone call. I'd finished my graduate assistantship, and I decided I wanted to coach and give up accounting. Not a hard decision at all. I had applied everywhere with no luck, laying on my bed at my house crying, feeling sorry for myself, and she calls me. She said she had approval to hire me as a part-time assistant for $5,000. That's just a little less than that accounting degree would have brought home. So I jumped at the chance, asked my mom, and worked with Coach B for 9 years. So she passed away earlier this year also, but if not for her, I would not be here. I'd like to thank all the assistant coaches that have worked with me over the years, Katie, Aaron, Kelsey, Maddie, and Kenzie. And I'd like to talk about my 3 associate head coaches. Buddy Foster was not able to be here tonight. He was the first person I called when I got the job. We've known each other since we were 13 years old. I played against his sister. We became friends. We coached together at SEMO for a few years. And the bond that developed there is why I trusted him. We forgot equipment. For those of you assistants that do that, it's okay. We lost gas cards. We lined fields when the liners broke with Gatorade cups. So if anybody tells you, oh, that's just a story, it's not. We did. And he helped me. So he kept me so grounded in moments. When you're a young coach, I was 33 when I took the job. And the first regional we played in was at Alabama, the 2003 regional. And we're playing Stanford. John Rittman was the coach. Lauren Lappin's on the team, Jess Allister. And it's the 4th inning. I'm calling pitches. He's sitting next to me on the bucket. And we're beating him 6-0. Now, this is Southern Illinois, you all. And I looked at Buddy and I said, holy shit, we're beating Stanford. He said, Carrie, it's the 4th inning, shut up, you know. I wanted to enjoy it because I didn't know if we'd get back, so. But he really kept me grounded. Christy, when Buddy left, you were the first person I thought of. Our personalities are quite different. Christy's so patient, I am not. Christy's soft-spoken, I am not. But you're so good for me. And I want you all to know she was my stand-in to take every coin flip. Christy is such a good Catholic that I had her at every coin toss. Especially we played Notre Dame that year at the Northwestern Regional. I sent her. She's a Notre Dame alum, and I sent her to get we didn't get the coin toss, though, did we? We had several great years before you moved on to take the head job at St. Louis University. And again, a great friend. Thank you so much. Jen, we've spent the last 14 years together at SIU, and I believe every head coach that is worth anything works really hard to find a loyal and trusted assistant. When Christy left, I wanted you to stay and continue at SIU, even though you had opportunities. You were the nuts and bolts of our program over the last several years. This past year has been so trying with me stepping down during the season, and you handled it better than anyone I can think of. Pretty cool to be able to coach with one of your best friends, and I'm so grateful that you are the 3rd head coach in SIU history. So deserving. To all the former players that I have coached, there's a couple here in attendance, Tara Archibald and Danielle Stenger. It was always about you. I loved being your coach. I always have said I don't know if I'm a Hall of Fame coach, but I think I'm a pretty good recruiter. We got the right kids at SIU. They bought into our culture, they bought into our philosophy. That young lady on the video that said about going to class, I don't want you to think she was a slacker. She's a 4.0 in accounting again, I know, accounting. She's my State Farm agent right now. She's so bright, but she did tell me, she's like, Carrie, I'm gonna go because it's you, but I really could teach the class. But my greatest joy was being able to mentor these young women and prepare them for life. To me, lessons from being on a team and lessons that are learned on a softball field are so valuable. And I'm so fortunate to have been able to coach so many great young ladies. I understand there's probably a lot of stories about me, but I hope I passed on some wisdom. I also want to mention that I've been fortunate to have so many friends in this organization and mentors. Melinda Fisher took me to my very first convention. It was incredible. I was in Atlantic City. Now, this is someone from Heron, Illinois. I'd never been out. I don't know if I'd been on a plane at that point, and I'm in Atlantic City. But it was awesome. Coaches such as Joe Evans, Carol Hutchins, Jackie Joseph, Joan Joyce, Karen Weekly, Patrick Murphy, Tim Walton, Rhonda Ravel, and I could literally go on, spent time and talked to a young coach from Southern Illinois, and it meant the world to me. Carol and I used to sit and watch games together, recruiting, and laugh for hours. I can pick up a phone and call or text Patty Gasso and Jennifer Rocha at any time, and she answers the phone right when I call. Patty and I have spent so many times at the Women's College World Series talking about softball, and I value and appreciate her friendship. It just means the world to me about this coaches in this organization and what they will do for young coaches when they get started. Missouri Valley coaches are the best. We have great competition. Sometimes we don't always agree, but at the end of the day, we have each other's back. Melinda, Holly Hesse, Rich Calvert, Ryan Jacobs, all these people that I had coached with for years and years and years. I have great friendships with coaches in our league, and I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for my friends that are here tonight. Missy, Mary Jo, Steph, Linda, Ty Taggart. You are my family. I don't have a large family. I told you my brother and dad died young, but you are. Softball has taken me away from some moments with you. Births, funerals, and I hope I can make up for that now. I would like to conclude by talking about Southern Illinois University. What a special place. 3 head coaches in 60 years, you all. Just think about that. What's so special that people want to stay? I had many opportunities over the years to leave, and I'm sure some of my colleagues wondered why I didn't. Of course, my family and the illness played a part, but SIU played a part. Being able to compete at the highest level but while being that underdog or being a mid-major. I love recruiting against the bigger schools. I love competing against the bigger schools. I love the personality of Southern Illinois. I love the hard hat lunch pail type. I would like to thank all of my administration that I work for and all the support staff that stood by us. I'm honest, I know this, that I was a pain in the butt for sure. I always wanted to push softball to the forefront at SIU, and I had administrators and support staff that wanted to do it. To sum this up, I feel like the luckiest person alive. I was able to coach for over 30 years at one place. For me, it was never about mere recognition. It was about giving back. It was about impacting young women. It was about representing my university and Southern Illinois region. Do not get me wrong. Competing is the ultimate, and winning is very, very sweet. But watching those young women get a degree and watching them mature and succeed in life is the absolute ultimate for me. I poured everything I had into my job. I would not recommend that. For all of you in this profession, take care of yourself because that's very, very important, and your health is important. Again, I'm so thankful, grateful, and humble for this honor. Thank you.
Up next is Sandy Montgomery, retired head coach for Southern Illinois University, common theme tonight, Edwardsville. Sandy Montgomery enjoyed an illustrious 30-year career at the helm of SIUE softball. The longest tenured Cougars head coach and one of the most successful, Montgomery retired in 2018 with a 1,051, 540, and 2 record. Yeah. That's a lot of wins. She led SIUE to a 2007 NCAA Division II national title, 12 NCAA tournament appearances, 6 conference championships, and 10 40-plus win seasons. During her career, she coached 11 NFCA All-Americans and 79 All-Conference selections. After the 2008 season, Montgomery shepherded the program through the transition from Division II to Division I. The Cougars won 40 games in their first season of Division I competition and won the Ohio Valley Conference in 2014, earning an automatic bid to the NC2A tournament. At this time, please enjoy this video highlighting the career of Sandy Montgomery.
Sandy Montgomery is synonymous with SIUE softball. A Hall of Fame career as a pitcher gave way to a coaching career which spanned more than 3 decades. First as an assistant coach and then for 30 seasons as the program's head coach. Her 30-year tenure is the second longest of any coach at SIUE, and her 1,053 wins ranks #1 among Cougar head coaches in all sports. She enjoyed 2 50-win seasons, 8 40-win seasons, and 11 30-win seasons. She guided her teams to 12 NCAA tournament appearances, capturing the 2007 Division II National Championship, and then guiding her Cougars to their first NCAA Division I tournament appearance in 2014. Sandy Montgomery has won 5 Conference Coach of the Year awards, while her and her staff earned regional and national honors as well. Her lasting legacy will be the lives she has touched, from student athletes to fellow coaches and administrators.
As a 9-year-old girl, I came to your pitching camps and was in awe of how amazing you and your team were. Then in high school, I came on my somewhat unique campus visit and talked to you about playing on the very team I'd admired for so long. Over the next 4 years, you taught me so much about the game of softball, which included some great life lessons. and we got to enjoy amazing success together. Fast forward to a couple of years ago, and you helped us buy a new home. Looking back, you've really gone above and beyond, and you've been an important part of my life for longer than most coaches. So, thank you for everything you've done for me, my family, and the hundreds of players you've influenced during your career.
Congrats, Coach, on being inducted into the Hall of Fame. There's no one more deserving, and I am so fortunate to be able to say that I was part of your journey.
You know, you gave your heart and soul to SIUE and to the softball program. Your love of the game, your perseverance, just to build successful programs year after year, despite whatever obstacles, came in our way. And we had quite a few. But you always led our team with a determination that not many people possess.
You taught us how to be incredibly smart and savvy softball players, but you also taught us how to be incredibly smart, savvy, and stronger females. Thank you so much for all you've done for me and for my teammates. You taught us how to face adversity head on and how to succeed past that adversity, something that I've carried on throughout my entire life, far past my softball days. Thank you for everything you've done for the game. You are a true leader and steward of softball. I am a better person because I had the privilege of playing for you.
I'm so thankful to have played for you and to have learned so much from you over the years. You taught me how to hold myself to a higher standard and how to push myself out of my comfort zone, and those are two things that have always stayed with me. I'm so thankful that you never gave up on me and you always believed in me.
Not only for what you've done for me on the field, giving me opportunities, coaching me to be the best player I can be, but also helping me develop skills like having hard conversations and being a strategic thinker. But it's also about your transformative impact on the SIUE softball program. It's one thing to have success on the field, team after team, opponent after opponent, but it is another thing to have a vision for the program and deliver that vision, even when other people can't see it.
Inside the lines, you are hard-nosed, tough, gritty, strong, and resilient. Needless to say, you didn't take crap from anyone. But outside of competition, you had a much softer side, especially when it came to kids, your family, and your players. You made an immensely positive impact on so many lives. You sincerely cared about the success of your players both on the field and in life. And for me, there's no greater example of that than when you gave me the encouragement I needed to go into the coaching profession. And for that, I will forever be grateful.
You know, it's not been always easy. I know you've had a lot of obstacles and had to make a lot of sacrifices in order to have the success that you've had. But it's because of all of those sacrifices and that hard work that has paved the way for so many other females in the sport of softball. I know as athletes and as coaches, you definitely made things easier. So for that, we are all forever grateful to you. It was so much fun in my time as a Cougar, and I'm so happy that I was able to witness so much of your success and to be a part of so much of it.
You have taught me so much in life and so many others about how to work hard and not settle for anything less than our best. And I truly take this into everything that I do in life. I have witnessed you tackling everything with such determination and perseverance, which has made you successful in everything that you do.
You have helped so many female athletes become not only champions on the field, but champions in life. I still remember the first day that I met you. It was in a friend's backyard, and you had come to help one of your former players teach her Boys and Girls Club team how to pitch because none of us knew how. From that day on, you were a superhero to me. It was my goal all through high school to get to play for you at SIUE, and it was such an honor to play for you.
Thank you so much for everything that you have done for me, from recruiting me to giving me my first job as your assistant, to now I'm able to call you one of my best friends. When you think about SIUE softball, you think about Sandy Montgomery. You did so much for our program, so much for our sport. There are just no words. So Thank you again, Coach, for everything that you've done for me, for my family, for our program, and for our sport.
I've had the opportunity to observe your talents, your awesome passion for the game of softball, your obsessive attention to detail, and your hard work ethic, and most of all, your devotion both to your student athletes and to the university. Those characteristics have brought for you a very long and successful and respected history and a coaching career. You're truly entitled to this award. Enjoy the day.
You should be proud of the accomplishments and accolades that you've received over the years, but be mindful of all the lives that you've touched along the way. This is where you'll find you made your greatest impact. Your mentorship and your friendship to me has allowed me to advance from an unpolished young assistant coach to a seasoned administrator. But more importantly, it's your generosity and care off the field that I'll cherish the most.
It is an honor and a privilege to call Sandy Montgomery my close friend, my colleague, the cornerstone to creating a culture of excellence at SIUE. She is a caring and kind human being, a fearless and competitive coach, a leader who brings everyone together for a common cause, a person who has lived a life of courage by doing the right things and doing them well, even when it wasn't easy, a trusted and respected mentor to her players. You are a true champion, you are a great coach, but more importantly, you're a trusted friend.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the podium 2022 NFCA Hall of Fame inductee, Sandy Montgomery.
Well, I've got two tough acts to follow, obviously, with Jenny and Carrie. But I do want to tell on myself real quick. And I guess I'll talk about Christy Canoyer again, even though she didn't, I never coached with her or played with her or anything. But she saved my ass because I forgot my speech in the bathroom. She sure did. So thank you. So I want to start off by thanking the Hall of Fame committee for my induction into the NFCA Hall of Fame. It's a great honor for me and obviously a very humbling experience to be standing up here before you tonight. I also want to congratulate all of the other Hall of Famers, Jenny, Carrie, Mary Jo. All of you have had amazing careers and exemplify what a Hall of Fame coach represents. So congratulations to all of you. I didn't really realize how much in common Carrie Blaylock and I, much things that we have in common, I should say. I think you're going to hear a lot of similarities in our speech. And we didn't talk before this, so nonetheless. I would also like to thank Carol Bruggeman and her staff. Since taking over as the executive director, Carol's done a tremendous job of leading our organization, supporting us as coaches, and moving our game forward in so many ways. So I'd like you all to please give Carol and her staff a round of applause. So I feel very fortunate to be standing up here tonight. I came to SIU Edwardsville as a student athlete from a very small town, and all I ever wanted to do was play softball. My coach, Cindy Jones, who is here tonight. Cindy, give everybody a little wave. She's here tonight. She gave me a scholarship and the opportunity to pitch in a national championship as a freshman. She then went on to allow me to be her graduate assistant coach. And then after she became the director of athletics, she hired me to be the second coach in SIU Edwardsville when I was 23 years old. I was coaching players that I played with, which that was a lot of fun. Learning how to recruit, and I'm sure making a lot of mistakes. But she still hired me, and I can't thank her enough for the opportunities that she gave me, her mentorship, and now her friendship to this day. So thank you, Cindy. I think most of you know that you're never successful in sports without a supportive group of individuals around you. I've been blessed with so many people that fall into this category. There's no way to name them all. but I would like to name a few. First, my longtime assistant coach, Brian Belt. Brian is also here tonight. Brian, where are you? There you are, wearing the red. Brian did many things for our program, but as he said in the video, he just kept hanging around until I hired him. He did stats by hand. He was the equipment manager. He drove the bus. He restrung gloves. And when I got upset, he kept me in the game most of the time. When we were fortunate enough to take a charter, we played lots of euchre to pass the time. He was my sounding board, someone I counted on when I had to make tough decisions, someone who loved our program and hated to lose about as much as I did. I did eventually pay him, but it was very little, and yet he still put up with me. And so did his wife. And he was always invested in the success of our team. So thank you, Brian. Another person I want to mention is Valerie McCoy. I recruited Val to play for me. She was a two-time All-American for us, really understood the game, took that knowledge into being one of my assistant coaches for several years, and I can't thank her enough for her passion, her commitment to our program, but most of all, her loyalty. After we won the national championship in 2007, she left us for a bit. She thought she had to go make some money, because I wasn't paying her much at that time. But she did come back as a volunteer and continued to be a staple on our coaching staff. As most of you know, loyalty is hard to come by these days, but that was never a question with Val. Her commitment to me and our success was second to none, and to this day, I can always count on her. So thank you, Valerie. In 2008, our Chancellor, Vaughn Vandegrift, decided it was time for SIUE to become a Division I institution, and softball would be one of the sports to be eligible for championships in 2011. I can't even begin to tell you the support this man gave me and our program, and it was my honor to represent Vaughn and his wife, Sue. I can only hope that you have the opportunity, if you're coaching, to work for a chancellor or a president that values what you do as a coach. It not only enhances the experience of your student athletes, but it brings great pride to your university knowing you have the support of the man in charge. Vaughn and his wife, Sue, could not join us tonight, but I will forever be grateful for their support and their vision and their loyalty. There are two more people I want to mention as well. The first is Dr. Bradley Hewitt. He was our Director of Athletics from 2002 to 2019. And the support that he gave me throughout my entire career was tremendous. I can't remember asking for something that I didn't get. He was always there for me when I needed advice, even though he thought the catching position was the most important one, and he always wanted me to squeeze. I did not hold that against him. He was present at our games. He traveled with us. He was invested in our success. He valued what we did as coaches. I could not imagine working for anyone else, which is one of the main reasons I stayed at SIUE my entire career. I had some opportunities as well, but when you have the best job in the country because of the people that you're surrounded by, there was no reason to leave. Dr. Hewitt created a culture in our department that won't ever be duplicated there again. He not only cared for our coaches, their families, and their futures, he also demonstrated this to our student athletes. He was going to be here tonight as well, but his wife became ill, so couldn't make the trip. But I can't thank him enough for everything he's done for me throughout my career, and I am certain, without question, that I would not be standing up here tonight if he had not been my boss and my most important friend. The next person I want to thank is my most recent associate head coach, Jessica Jones. Jessica came to our program in 2013 after we'd been Division I for a couple of years. She immediately made an impact on our program, in practices and in games. She brought an energy and a competitiveness and a passion for the game that matched mine, and that was pretty hard to do. With her addition to our staff, we enhanced our recruitment, our hitting, and our coaching strategies. And in 2014, we won our first Division I conference championship, and we're lucky enough to be sent to Alabama for our first Division I regional. That was a lot of fun, too. And I was going to give Patrick some crap, but he's not here. So I have no doubt that this in part was made possible by Jessica's coaching abilities and her desire to win. And again, when you surround yourself with good people, so many things are possible. And I want to thank Jessica for her dedication to our program and her loyalty to me. A great staff and talented, invested, loyal players are what helps you become a Hall of Fame coach. You never do it alone, and your success is made possible by everyone who bought into the winning culture that you were trying to create. Lastly, I want to thank the many players that I have been fortunate enough to coach over my 30-year career. And I believe it was a total of 219. I tried to count it up before I came here, and I think that is correct. And most of them are still in my life. Some are here tonight to help me celebrate along with their parents. I'm going to have you guys stand up. I'm going to embarrass you a little bit. Oh, yeah, you're first. Alicia DeShazier McConnell, please stand up. Amy Rogers Schultz. Casey Schlafke Griffith. Zoe Schaefer. Alana Cobb Adams. And Haley Chambers Book. Thank you. I want to thank you all for coming. It certainly means a lot to me, and I am so proud of all of you. And what I will end with is to say this. Coaching isn't what you do, it's who you are. And what I'm most proud of is that I will forever be their coach. Oh, I will. And while you win some and you lose some, I was blessed to win quite a few. But I've been very fortunate to win the biggest game of all, which is life after softball. So I want to give a shout out to my boy Jackson. I love you, buddy. Thank you all so much.
Congrats. Great job.
Thank you.
Our final inductee of the evening is Mary Jo Truesdale, head. Okay. Yeah, you guys have been waiting a long time for that, haven't you? How many wine bottles at those tables over there? Head coach at Sheldon High School in California. A legendary pillar of high school softball, Mary Jo Truesdale has spent over 45 years as a head coach in the state of California, the last 26 at the helm of Sheldon High School in Sacramento. A 2020 NFHS National Coach of the Year, Truesdale has coached in over 1,000 games with her teams generating over 800 wins and numerous league and section titles. The only head coach in program history, Truesdale started the program in 1997 after a successful career at Elk Grove High School in California. Just this past season, her program tied a record with their 9th section title. Not only has Truesdale grown the program from the ground up on the field, but off the field as well through community service at clinics in the communities of Rancho Murrieta and Elk Grove, as well as Chicks in Crisis, a nonprofit in the greater Sacramento area that supports pregnant teens and young women in crisis. Please, yes, absolutely. And now please enjoy this video honoring the career of Mary Jo Truesdale.
If I met somebody who didn't know Coach Truesdale and I had to tell them about her, probably the first thing I would say is that, you know what, she's just everyday people.
Well, I started out playing baseball with the boys in my neighborhood. And so that's how I really started. And then we didn't have softball in high school, so the only chance I got to play was in the summer. And so I played at Michigan State for 3 years before I graduated. And then I started coaching pretty much right out of college.
Generous, compassionate, caring. She always puts the person before the athlete.
I would say that she's a very passionate, loving person, loves the game of softball and will coach it to the finest details.
Defining Mary Jo Truesdell as a coach and a teacher, it's hard to just identify the coach or the teacher. I first hired Mary Jo back at Elk Grove High School as a JV softball coach, and quickly knew she was going to be the next head coach. She has demonstrated, if I were to talk to you about her, the integrity, the teamwork, the humor, the humility, the winning is important, but being a good person is more important. How you are when you leave her program is equally important.
I think some of the ways I've found success is by adapting throughout my career. When I first started, like so many coaches, young coaches, we think that we have to be on top of everything every single minute. We think that we have to be hard and tough and mean and just that way. And I've softened, and I think so many coaches as they get older, it's not that we're easier on our players, but we just listen more.
The thing that Coach does, and it's kind of an interesting thing because you have to understand softball about it, one of the things that she does that is always just hit near and dear to me is that when it's time for the half inning to change and we're out in the field, she greets her pitcher at the mound and hands them the ball. And she's done it ever since I've seen her coach, for as long as I've known. And it's such a huge, simple sign of trust and respect for that gal and what she's going to do. And I'm telling you what, I don't know what Mary Jo says up there, but every single time when she's walking away, the pitcher is smiling.
One thing I'll never forget about Coach Truesdell is about how she gives us marbles. And every game you get a marble and you're playing for all the marbles, and in life it's about the small things.
My proudest achievement as a coach is every time I hear from an alumni. Every time an alumni walks through my classroom door to visit. Every time an alumni calls me and asks me if I'm available for lunch. I think those are my proudest times in my life, is when I hear from previous players. That's when I'm happiest.
I would say Coach is never just a coach to me. She's a second mom. When we're teenagers, we were in high school, and to have someone that you trust, that you could talk to, who you know loves you and is there for you, I think I even look to her this day. Now I get to call her my friend.
I think one word that would describe me best is passionate. I am passionate about what I do. I am passionate about my players. I am passionate about my assistant coaches. I am passionate about being a graduate from Michigan State University, about being a Spartan. I am passionate about being a Sheldon Husky, and I always will be. I've had a great life, and I'm not done yet.
I feel like it's about time that Coach was nominated for the Hall of Fame.
Oh, I couldn't be happier for it, and it's so well deserved. She has given every ounce of her being to this program, to this game. She is an ambassador for women's sport. She's an ambassador for softball. Heck, she's an ambassador for Sheldon. I mean, when you say Sheldon, people know you're talking about Mary Jo Truesdell.
I think it's great and well deserved. In the short time that I've known her, she's done amazing things out here on the softball field and in the classroom. But I know that the work prior to me knowing her has been tremendous as well, and so a well-deserved honor.
The best part about coaching is working with these young ladies, and they keep me young. I learn something every season, and I think that's the best part about coaching.
Thank you. Thank you for everything that you've ever done. Thank you for giving me 4 great years of memories, championships, and legacy. Thank you for including me in your life. And I have been honored to have had you in mind for as long as I have.
I love you. Congratulations. You are so deserving of this.
Coach, I love you. You are in my heart forever, and I'm just so proud of you. You deserve this, and I'm glad I could be in this video. It means the world to me.
I want to say thank you, Coach. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to work with you, and because ultimately I feel like I've grown in such a positive way over all these years, almost 25 years, as a teacher, as a coach, but as a person as well. So thank you. It's been a pleasure.
I have been with Coach Truesdale for some 15 years now, starting back with her first section title in 2002 when my daughter played for her. Some 10 years later, by chance, when I thought I was retired, she talked me into being an assistant coach. And 11 years and 5 section titles later, here we are. Coach, congratulations for being inducted into the Hall of Fame, which is well-deserved. And thanks for letting me be a small part of it. Once a Husky, always a Husky. And you are truly leaving a legacy.
Proud of you, proud of all you've accomplished. Glad to see that all your hard work and all your intensity and all your striving for not just softball, but for women to be held in as high a standard and with equity is a legacy.
I truly believe that we are what we repeatedly do, and that excellence is not an act, but a habit.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the podium 2020 NFCA Hall of Fame inductee, Mary Jo Truesdale.
I think I need a stool. No, I'm good. I'm good. Well, I'll tell you, this is just unbelievable, first of all. To look out here and see all of you, I never imagined in my life that I would ever be standing here. And so I'm in awe. I'm in awe. But thank you to the NFCA Selection Committee, the NFCA Executive Director, Carol Bruggeman, and the NFCA office staff for this exceptional and unbelievable honor. I congratulate my fellow Hall of Fame recipients, Jenny, Carrie, and Sandy. What an amazing class to be a part of. I'm humbled to stand before you and represent every high school coach in this room and across the country. I share this award with you. I'd like to thank all of the vendors who have always been so generous to Sheldon Softball. We have truly appreciated your support over the years. We aren't sponsored as a high school team, but the breaks that you give us help us out. Anyway, I must acknowledge the following people who have mentored me along the way and always took my calls and texts. First of all, retired coach Jackie Joseph, fellow Spartan. Retired coach Carol Hutchins, U of M, fellow Spartan. Bonnie Thole, U of M. Can't believe U of M is coming out of my mouth. Retired coach Diane Ninemeyer, Cal Berkeley. Retired coach Kathy Strahan, Sac State. Coach Lori Perez, Sac State. Coach Brian Colsey, University of the Pacific. Coach Megan Correa, Southwestern Oregon Community College. Coach Shelley Sarchett, Cal Poly Humboldt, and Steve. Retired coach Margie Wright, Fresno State, who spoke at a U of M clinic back in the winter many years ago and autographed her handout for me. It was probably a Mimeo, and frankly, I probably still have it somewhere in my files. I just really treasured that. Retired coach Maggie White, College of the Redwoods. Coach Ben Sorden, Southern Illinois University, Edwardsville. Coach Lisa Delgado, American River College. Coach Darcy Brownell, Sierra Community College. And retired coach Barb Froh. She was a longtime head coach at Lansing Community College and one of my earlier roommates. When I started coaching, she gave me mimeographed copies of many of her drills and strategies, and boy, did they smell good. If this isn't a village, I don't know what is, but these are just a few of the many who have impacted my softball career. Now I'd like to recognize the coach who nominated me, stayed by my side throughout this process, and is responsible for my being before you, Serena Lim. I owe you this day. I first knew her as a player when we competed against her at St. Francis High School in Sacramento. After college, she returned to give back and coach there. She is just that kind of unselfish giving person. Thank you. I could fill this time with recognizing all the amazing coaches with whom I've been blessed to coach with and compete against. But a few include my right-hand assistant coaches, like John Mendonca and Joe Jaquez, who I hope still like me after all these years, and my recently retired assistant coach and longtime convention roommate, Laura Ziegenhurt. Yeah. I would also like to recognize my JV head coach and video producer extraordinaire, Scotty Fernandez. High school coaches and friends, Charlie Pikus, Pacheco High School, Laura Shiner, Ramona High School, Kevin Warren, St. Francis High School, and Dan Hay, Canyon High School, who invited us down to his tournaments many times. We don't go back anymore. Travel ball coach from Lady Magic, Ernie Munoz. My NFCA mentoring coaching triangle, Catherine Foster Cody from Wellington Middle High School in Colorado. It's been such a pleasure to get to know her this year. Former players who are here tonight and are the reason I do what I do, and I'd really like you to stand up. Jolene Henderson from Sheldon High School. Lindsay Ziegenhurt Munoz from Sheldon High School, and Megan Correa from Elk Grove High School. I love you, and I will always carry you in my heart, and thank you for being here tonight. My many family members and closest friends who are here tonight, my family members who came here from Michigan, my oldest sister, Bemi Basinger, my baby sister and her husband, Megan Donnie Burhans, who drove here from Michigan, my niece, Maggie Jo Ritchie, and my niece and her husband, Becky and Ed Ash. Thank you for coming from Michigan. And last but not least, my principal, Paula D. Duncan. Thank you, Paula. If you haven't noticed, I believe in longevity. A coach's job is never truly done. There's always another at-bat, another inning, another game. Most of you know I've been retiring for the past 15 years after coaching for 40-plus years. For some reason, I haven't been able to walk away. It just has not yet been my time. My message to all of you is to listen to yourself and follow your passion. Work through the rough times and know tomorrow gives you a new game to play. I've enjoyed being a part of the many changes in athletic opportunities for young women and owe so much to Title IX. Now, I want to keep this brief for several reasons. It's late and I need my sleep. And I'm up last with 2 outs, 2 strikes, and it's getting a bit thin in the back where I used to sit. I'm a small-town Midwestern girl who wasn't afforded the opportunity of a high school softball experience. Remember, this was back in the 60s. It was pre-Title IX, and yet I was fortunate to be able to play softball in the summer. I was driven around in my dad's station wagon with my teammates by my dad, who passed away my freshman year of college, or my high school PE teacher and coach, Mrs. Ruth Otten, also deceased, throughout the counties playing other small-town teams. It was the original travel ball. Coach Otten was a single mom raising 2 young daughters who gave us her valuable time. She will always be the source of my inspiration to coach. She taught me the importance of teamwork and service to others. Fast forward a few years, and I did have the opportunity to compete at the collegiate level, first in basketball at Albion College, and soon after in softball and field hockey at Michigan State University. I was also the women's basketball statistician. I thought I'd try out for basketball, but I walked into the gym and I saw the women trying out, and I thought, no. Once again, I was influenced by a strong woman, a field hockey and basketball coach, Coach Mickey Bale, who taught me that I could always learn new things. Ah, the softball memories. We made 2 bus trips to the College World Series. That was before California had softball and sent teams to the College World Series. No, I was not fortunate enough to play on the AIAW MSU championship team. As a matter of fact, I wasn't much of an on-the-field role player. I learned a lot about patience, teamwork, and the game in general from that experience. But I can tell you this, I was always the best teammate. I can tell you this, I could be and always worked as hard as I could to be prepared. I learned that if I take care of the little things, then big things will happen. I learned the importance of positivity as I watched the behaviors of so many players. I learned the effect negative thoughts played in overall performance, thus team success. A smile does go a long way. Earlier, I spoke about my longevity. I'm proud to say that I am 70 years old and still passionate about what I do. So, my closing is twofold. First, encourage coaches you know to join the NFCA. It's a wonderful organization with so many resources for them and recognition for their players. Can you imagine if we each brought 1 coach in or gifted a coach a membership? We would double our membership overnight. I challenge you to do that. I challenge you. Second, don't quit just because it gets tough or you think you've had enough or done enough. Longevity should not be the exception. Find a way to reinvigorate yourself. Take more time for self-care. Dr. Joanna Lane, that is an NFCA Zoom in itself. You will appreciate the time for self-care. Your team will benefit. Your family will appreciate it. Even your friends will appreciate it. And it will give you the motivation to continue the work. As Eleanor Roosevelt said, the future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams. So I say, dream big. Again, I share this award with all of you. Thank you for staying until the end. I appreciate each and every one of you. See you on the field. Thank you so much.
At this time, I'd like to invite NFCA Vice President for Awards, Larissa Anderson, to the podium to announce the Hall of Fame class of 2023.
What a beautiful evening, and I have the best job in the world right now. Thank you, Karen, and congratulations to our newest members of the Hall of Fame. On behalf of the Hall of Fame Committee, it is my pleasure to announce the class of 2023 next year in Louisville. If in attendance, please stand and remain standing throughout the announcement of the entire class. The Hall of Fame class of 2023 is Lonnie Alameda, Florida State. John Byrne, Moravian University. Kim Wilson, Rowan University. Carol Bruggerman, NFCA. Thank you all for your attendance and have a great evening.